I'm Susie, and I'm a Content and Curriculum Manager with Kaplan. I've written or reviewed the new Next Generation NCLEX, or NGN, item types, and I'd like to share a few things about the extended multiple response type of questions. In this video, I'm going to discuss the extended multiple response items and clarify the three NGN question types. I'm going to show you examples of each type and how they are scored, and then go over a few strategies about how to approach these questions. Remember that NGN question sets are all about measuring clinical judgment. And what is that? Well, that is about you being able to approach a clinical situation, make observations and gather information, analyze that information, and decide what to do. When the Next Generation NCLEX, or NGN, launches in April of 2023, there will be 6 question sets which will take you through a step-by-step process. Question 1 of each set will start with recognizing cues. In question 2, you will analyze what you have recognized in question 1. In question 3, you will determine priority concerns or topic is. In question 4, you will determine solutions so that you can plan your client's care. In question 5, you will take actions and implement the care that you have planned. Finally, in question 6, you will evaluate if nursing interventions you took improved the client's condition or if the client has declined. There are 15 different types of NGN questions. 13 of these can be used in a 6-question set. Bow tie and trend questions are standalone types, meaning they have tabs of information, but they are not part of a 6-question set. In this video, we will talk about the extended response questions. There are 3 types of extended multiple response items. 2 of these are very similar: select all that apply, or SATA, and multiple response N. The N in multiple response N stands for the number of correct responses, and this will vary from question to question. You are likely very familiar with the SATA. In both of these types, there is a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 9 options. Here is an example of how the tabs for the case study and a SATA question would look on a computer screen. After reading the tab information on the left, you would answer the question on the right. Remember that in a SATA, at least one, more than one, or all of the options may be correct. Look at each option carefully. This is an example of a multiple response N. The number of correct options is specified in the stem. There could be as few as 5 and as many as 9 options, and you should select the number N specified in the stem. You cannot select more than N. If you choose N and then decide you want to change an answer, you must deselect one of the items you chose to pick another. It is important for you to select at least N. There is no penalty for selecting an incorrect answer. You simply receive no points. Multiple response grouping items are basically several SATA questions. The question and responses are organized into a table. The table has a minimum of 2 groupings and a maximum of 5 groupings. The grouping could be categories such as assessment findings, body systems, or developmental stages. Each grouping has a minimum of 2 options and a maximum of 4 options. The options could be lists of potential nursing interventions, client actions, or clinical findings. The number of options is the same for all groupings. At least one, more than one, or all options can be correct in each grouping. Here is an example of a multiple response grouping item. There may be 2 to 5 rows or groupings, and there may be 2 to 4 options in each row. One option must be correct in each row, but like a SATA, more than one and even all of the options in each grouping can be correct. Now, let's talk about scoring these items. No longer will you have to get all of the options correct in a SATA question in order to receive points. With the launch of NGN in April 2023, the National Council of State Boards of Nursing will implement partial scoring. There are 3 partial scoring models: 0-1 scoring, plus-minus scoring, and rationale scoring. Extended multiple response items are either 0-1 scoring or plus-minus scoring. Let's take a look at what that means. You are very familiar with 0-1 scoring. This is the classic scoring model. You earn 1 point for each correct response. You do not receive points for incorrect answers. The sum of all correct responses is the total score for the item, and MRN is scored with 0-1 scoring. So if you have an MRN with 4 correct answers, like in this example, you have the possibility of earning 4 points. You will receive a point for each correct answer you choose. You will not receive points for incorrect answers, but you will also not have points deducted for incorrect answers. In this example, 3 answers chosen were correct and 1 was incorrect, so the student received 3 out of 4 points. Plus-minus scoring will allow you to receive 1 point for each correct option selected. For each incorrect option you select, a point is deducted. It is important to note that if you fail to select a correct response, you are not penalized. The total number of points is the total correct minus the total incorrect. The minimum number of points for a question is 0. In other words, you cannot receive a negative score even if you select more wrong options than correct options. The SATA and multiple response grouping question types use plus-minus scoring. Here is a SATA item being scored with plus-minus scoring. Remember, you receive 1 point for each correct answer you choose. You have a point deducted for each incorrect answer you choose. In this example, 3 of the choices were correct and 1 was incorrect, so the student received 2 total points. The plus-minus scoring method will be used for all SATA questions on NGN tests, whether they are part of a 6-question set or a freestanding traditional question in the test. This is a big change. In a multiple response grouping item, the plus-minus scoring is applied to each grouping. Then the totals from each grouping are added together to give the total score. You can see that each grouping is scored separately. This particular item is worth a maximum of 5 points. 2 points for grouping 1, 1 point in grouping 2, and 2 points in grouping 3. This student received 2 points in grouping 1, no points in grouping 2 because the correct answer was canceled out by the incorrect answer, and 1 point in grouping 3. The combined total, 3 points. You may wonder if you need to concentrate on how all of these items are scored when you answer your questions. The answer is yes, it does make a difference. For example, let's talk about a SATA. You've seen this question type before, and you know that a SATA is basically like several true-false questions. You look at each option and see if it could be a correct answer. For example, is this a true statement for the nurse to make? Is this a false statement for the nurse to make? With the launch of partial scoring by NGN in April of 2023, a SATA will be scored differently than before. What does that mean? It means if you know it is correct, choose it. If you are not sure, it is better not to guess. You will receive a point for each correct choice, but you will also have a point removed for each wrong choice. Remember, though, you cannot have negative points with plus-minus scoring, whether it's a SATA or a multiple response grouping. If you have a 7-option SATA, for example, and you choose 2 correct and 3 incorrect, you will receive 0 points, not -1. You may also wonder, are there other question types besides the MRN which specify how many options I should choose? No, only the MRN tells you how many options are correct. MRN items are scored with 0-1 scoring, meaning you earn a point for each correct answer and do not have a point deducted or removed for wrong answers. So you should make sure you select the N or the number specified in the stem. Remember, if you choose the number of options specified and then want to choose a different option, you must deselect one of the options you chose before you can change to the new option. I hope this overview of extended multiple response question types was helpful to you. Remember, there are many resources and practice tests available in your study plan that have these items in them and can help you become very familiar with taking them. There is also a scoring guide to help you understand partial scoring for each question type.